Good morning, students. Once again, moving ahead with economics for class 12, Indian economic development. Students, we have completed 4 chapters. They were Indian economy on the eve of independence. Then next chapter was 5-year plans and goals and achievements. Then it was features, problems and policies of agriculture. And the fourth one was strategy of industrial growth. Today, we'll move ahead with the assignment based on this. Few questions you will see on the board that try to solve it out, and various hints are also there and I'll discuss with it. Moving ahead with the first question is, what were the main causes of India's agricultural stagnation during the colonial period? Students, it says the situation of the stagnation is required. So, what were there? There was a gulf between tillers of the soil and the owners of the soil. Land revenue system was there, which says zamindari system prevailed, and forced commercialization of crops. They were forced to, you can say, do the production of the crops like indigo, jute and various others that they were able to send it to their countries. So based on these and others factors, you can do this question. Next question. What was the twofold motive behind the systematic deindustrialization affected by the British in pre-independent India? Student, we have discussed this as systematic deindustrialization. If you remember, it says that all the small scale industries, handloom industries were closed. Moreover, the industrialization was for them that free import was being for them and free export of finished products were there in our country. So they states to exploit India's wealth of raw material and primary products, that is raw materials were exported, and to exploit India as a potential market for the industrial products of Britain. They were trying to capture the size of the market of India. I suppose you will be able to write this answer. Other than that, next question number 3 says, were there any positive contributions made by the British in India? Discuss. Now, we have learned so many of the things. Does it say that there is any positive impact or any positive contribution was there by the Britishers? Yes. How it was there? Few points I have written. First was commercial outlook. They have given the farmers to look into the commercial way of farming also. Coming out from the subsistence farming and live for the commercial outlook, says that they will be leaving with them some surplus amount of profit or some surplus amount of money so that they can earn their living. Other than that, the infrastructure growth was there, railways was there, they established opportunities of employment. Certainly when various sectors were developed, opportunity of employment was also there. Here I haven't written, but if you remember when I was taking this session, I explained you that they laid an important administrative system in our country. Whole of our administration, political administration that we are into it is because of them. So they laid, you can say, the basic infrastructure for this thing. So we can clearly say that yes, there were positive contributions made by British in that period. Next question. Despite the fact that GDP has grown consistently means continuously, during the 5-year plans, they say that the GDP has shown a growth in a consistent way. But the challenges of inflation, that is the rise in price, almost never justified. Subsidized means that the rise in the price or the monetary aspect of the country did not lower down as our GDP increased. So you have to justify by this statement? See students, in Indian economic development, it is not at all necessary that you get the straight questions. You'll get the statements also, you'll get the in or way questions also that you have to understand and write that are value based answers. Coming up to this question, justify, we can say that due to the increase in the population, we cannot subsidize our inflation. Moving ahead, they say explain, question number 5, explain growth with equity as a planning objective. When we have studied about the plans, 5-year plans and short-term plans, there was one of the major objective of India during these 5-year plans was to show the growth with equity. What does it say? It says that there should be social justice in the country. It should not be the growth which says that rich will become richer and poor sections will become poor. Growth with equity says social justice that prevails in mixed economy or sometimes in the socialist economy. Other than that, next question, why was it necessary for a developing country like India to follow self-reliance as a planning objective? They say, they are asking, why is it necessary for India to be self-reliant? Self-reliance, students, means to believe in ourselves, to believe in the resources of the country. And when self-reliance is being focused, that means they are promoting our domestic industries. Understood? So this what we have written, that it means reliance on self or domestically available resources. Next question, question number 7. While subsidies encourage farmers to use technology, they led to a huge stress on government finances. Discuss. Subsidies, students, subsidies are the leverage that are given to the farmers by the government so as to produce more crops. So the question says, while subsidies encourage farmers to use technology, it encourages farmers that they can use the new technology, but still there was a huge stress on government finances. Why is it so? Because of the thought process and many more reasons which I have discussed prior also. Another question, very important one, it says, does India need another green revolution? Why? Yes, it is very true that India needs another green revolution because of the substantial growth that we are seeing in the population and our resources are being damaged. Other than that, next question. What were the main land reforms undertaken in India? What were they? Students, basically land reforms were divided into 3 parts. Technical reforms, where they started using HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers and other things. Then it was institutional reforms, where they were taught to do multiple cropping and all those things, stop the zamindari system, and this you can say the fragmented land holdings were stopped. Other than that, general reforms that were based on the financial aspects. So in detail you can look into the chapter and write this. Now question number 10. Justify the direct participation of the state in industrial development of the country after independence. They say, question is asked, I'll explain you this. State participation. State participation means the government participation. Why it was necessary that the government participation of the state was there in industrial development? We have already discussed this, since because the social justice and the welfare was the prior motive of the state or the government, and these private entrepreneurs could not maintain that kind of social justice, so state had to intervene, and in detail you can go through the chapter. Next question, question number 11 is, why and how was private sector regulated under IPR 1956? Industrial Policy Resolution I have explained you in detail, that is 1956. It was a license Raj. Various regulations was put on to the industries. Private industries, they had to take permit. For enhancing their production, they had to take license. And so, they were being done like, restricted like that. So, in this question, you will write all those things. Now, the last question is, can we depend on MNCs, that is multinational companies, to achieve our objective of inclusive growth? Justify. They say, can we depend on the multinational companies? As you know that multinational companies are investing a lot of money in our country. Does it justify the inclusive growth? Inclusive growth, students, means that involves the employment generation. And thus employment generation is for everyone. While working in the MNCs, they will develop the employment only for the skilled and the literate people. Not to all of them. What about those who are not skilled? Other than that, they will be using high technology, which everybody cannot be able to sustain. Moreover, when technology would be used, less of the people will be involved in it. So, they say that inclusive growth generates employment. MNCs use high-end technology, which is labor saving. They will be saving the labor. That will not be the labor intensive technique which is required in our India. So it contributes to jobless growth rather than inclusive growth. So I suppose you will be able to write all these answers, and if you have any problem, please you can verify with the other videos that we have uploaded of Madhavrao Sinha Public School Economics for class 12. Till then, thank you.